Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening. First tonight, Tasmania has a new Premier. Jeremy Rockliff was sworn into the role at Government House this afternoon after running unopposed in this morning's Liberal Party room meeting. The deputy role will be filled by Michael Ferguson, the sole contender after Elise Archer dropped out of the race to be second in command before the vote took place. As the Liberal Party heralds in a new era of leadership, it farewells another. Peter Gutwein officially resigned today after stunning the state on Monday with the news he was calling time on his political career. State political reporter Ainsley Kosh begins our coverage.
Walking into one of the most important meetings of his life, Michael Ferguson was feeling optimistic.
Really great. We've got riches of talent and a lot of goodwill in our team, and we're just completely focused on making Tasmania a better place.
Just minutes later, he emerged alongside Jeremy Rockliff, both declared Tasmania's newest leadership team.
I am honoured and immensely excited to be elected today by my parliamentary colleagues to lead the Liberal Party and become Tasmania's 47th Premier.
The pair was sworn in at Government House.
Thank you, Premier.
With their most loyal supporters by their side. Jeremy Rockliff's experience as a Lifeline counsellor has seen him retain both the mental health and health portfolios. Michael Ferguson is now in charge of managing the state's coffers as Treasurer with his first budget due in May.
I will be approaching the role of Treasurer with a hard head and a soft heart.
Earlier in the week, a contest was shaping up between the member for Bass and Elise Archer for deputy, but the Attorney-General bowed out of the race at the 11th hour.
Michael Ferguson's done a deal with Jeremy Rockliff. We suspect that's about who's going to be the next leader of the Liberal Party, and the big loser is Elise Archer.
Michael Ferguson has made his ambitions clear in the past, but is promising to be a loyal right-hand man.
He knows that he will never have to worry about me over his shoulder. I will be supporting him because I need him to be successful so that our government can be successful.
Batting off any speculation of a retirement plan, the new Premier says he's more energetic than ever.
I wouldn't have stood in the last election if I wasn't committed to, of course, that 4-year term, and I'm committed to the 2025 election and the entirety of that term as well, should we be successful.
Following his predecessor's footsteps by overseeing the Commission of Inquiry, a pathway to treaty and a Tasmanian AFL team, Jeremy Rockliff is promising to lead the state with integrity and heart.
Tasmania is utterly, well and truly in my blood.
Let's go live now to Ainsley Kosh at State Parliament. Ainsley, we can expect some more changes to the Liberal lineup next week.
Kim, we should know who will make up the new cabinet by early next week, possibly as soon as Monday. This will be the government's third cabinet reshuffle since last year's state election. Jeremy Rockliff and Michael Ferguson have taken on the critical portfolios of Health and Treasury. We could expect to see Jane Howlett elevated into the ministry, given she is one of the more experienced members of the team. It's likely Roger Yench will retain education, while some are speculating Upper House member Joe Palmer could be elevated to the ministry for the first time. Now that Peter Gutwein has formally resigned as the member for Bass, a recount will need to take place for his seat. Nominations will need to occur by April 26, ahead of Parliament resuming on May 3.
Okay, thank you very much there, Ainsley. Well, Jeremy Rockliff's historic appointment punctuates a 20-year political career that has seen him rise from Northwest farmer to Tasmanian Premier. Even his fiercest foes have tagged him the nice guy, but they question if he has what it takes to stick it out in the top job.
It was 2002 when a clean-cut boy from Sassafras graduated from the family farm to Tasmania's walls of power. Jeremy Rockliff was part of a young Liberal trio that would one day all rise to become Premier.
I'm going to have to work very hard in the next 4 years to establish myself and prove myself
But like both his predecessors, he toiled in the shadow cabinet for more than a decade. Since the Liberals came to power, he's held 12 portfolios: infrastructure, education, and in 2021, health. Yet he's been unable to silence the sector's persistent criticism.
After 7 years of neglect of the health system, it's going to be incredibly difficult.
But it was primary industries that was in his blood. While Minister, he was faced with droughts and floods. He became a fierce defender of Tasmanian agriculture.
We are bloody good spud producers, efficient spud producers. We don't have to declare a statewide formal declaration of drought to start with working with farmers.
Even his biggest political enemies hold some admiration.
He's kind and he's decent and intelligent.
He served as deputy leader both in opposition and in government for 16 years, a position many thought he was comfortable with until only days ago.
There are serious questions about whether he's got the stamina to stick it out. There have been open rumours circulating about whether or not he will even remain in Parliament for the rest of this year.
Now he's transitioned from loyal lieutenant to leader. In his inaugural speech to Parliament, he described leadership as not simply managing what currently exists, but facilitating change and looking ahead. 20 years on, now's the chance to own his words. Garth Burley, 7 Tasmania News.
The state has recorded another COVID-related death overnight. A man in his 90s died at the Royal Hobart Hospital, making him the 33rd person to succumb to the virus since the pandemic began. New infections fell by almost 500 overnight to 1,885, with 18 people being treated specifically for the virus in hospital. 83% of over 50s have now received a third dose of the vaccine, with Public Health urging those eligible to receive their booster ahead of winter. A 33-year-old man has died after crashing his motorbike in Claremont. Emergency services arrived at the scene late yesterday afternoon. But despite the best efforts of Ambulance Tasmania and members of the public to save his life, the motorcyclist couldn't be revived. The fatality brings Tasmania's road toll to 14, more than triple what it was at this time last year. A 31-year-old Bridgewater man has been charged with attempted murder and firearm offences after an alleged shooting in Gagebrook overnight. He will face the Hobart Magistrates Court tomorrow. The 30-year-old man was injured and transported to the Royal Hobart Hospital in a serious but stable condition following the incident. Well, more Tasmanians could enjoy a commute on the water following a $20 million election promise today. Federal Labor is backing the River Derwent ferry service with plans to invest in terminal expansions across new locations.
All smiles on board as a pledge to throw cash at a popular Tasmanian ferry service is announced.
You can cut corners when you're on a river and you don't have to fix potholes. So there's lots of benefits of building up our public transport system with ferries at the heart of it.
Federal Labor is behind the delivery to keep the engines running on the River Derwent. A multi-million-dollar investment would build a network of jetties and terminals.
It will look at 3 other sites, Lindisfarne, Wilkinson's Point, Sandy Bay, to see if these are viable and put in infrastructure.
Along with an upgrade to the Bellreith Pier.
Where your commute to work can involve whale watching. That is what we are offering today, an opportunity for more people to have a more sustainable commute to work and a more effective way of enjoying and getting around this great city.
It comes just a week on from Greater Hobart mayors listing the service as a priority on their federal election wish list.
Buses will always play an important role, but we know that people love travelling by the river. We know that it's a really affordable public transport service to put in place.
The ferry service began in August last year and is enjoying a successful trial period, with 600 passengers a day taking the mode of transport in the peak summer period.
We know that Tasmania's capital has been left behind by the Morrison government.
A Deputy Prime Minister spokesperson hit back at the opposition, saying the Liberal Nationals government takes investment in Tasmania very seriously, allocating millions to major infrastructure projects. Grace Evans, 7 Tasmania News.
A Launceston automotive business owner is counting his lucky stars after a Molotov cocktail was thrown at his warehouse overnight. But the culprits weren't so lucky, caught in the act by police.
A car slowly approaches the Merv Grey Auto Parts and Machine Shop just after midnight. Two people get out, one walks onto Invermay Road, the other lights up two Molotov cocktails and throws them towards the building. At the same moment, police drive past.
Oh, look, I think it could be one for a world's stupidest criminals, to be honest. Could go on the highlight reel.
One of the offenders is taken into custody straight away. The other jumps into the car and drives off.
It's a bit of a worry when people are running around town throwing burning bottles on people's roofs.
Firefighters were quick to respond, climbing onto the roof to extinguish the small blaze. Duncan Willis has owned the business for almost 3 years and says it's lucky the whole building didn't catch alight.
Really happy, obviously, because it's, you know, it's would have been a big mess to clean up if that had happened. So, yeah, just lucky, I guess, that didn't go any further.
The front of the business did, however, receive some damage. Duncan believes a tyre lever was used to smash this window in the lead up to the Molotov cocktail attack. Two people, a 39-year-old man and a 37-year-old woman, have been charged with attempted arson and will face Launceston Magistrates Court tonight. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
Dark Mofo is building excitement in Tasmania, releasing its full globe-trotting lineup for the popular Winter Solstice Festival. Resurrection has been announced as a theme for the 2-week event, which will kick off in early June. Grammy-nominated artist, the Australian artist The Kid Laroi, is among the headline acts. Over 100 artists from 30 countries will be featured in the program, celebrating through large-scale public art, food and music. An abandoned church has been spared from ruin thanks to a distillery's divine intervention. Breadport Distillery will open to the masses tomorrow after finding a way to make gin from ingredients sourced solely from the northeast.
As light peers through the old church's stained glass, it shines upon a new Holy Spirit, the one found in a bottle or glass.
We had to work really hard to make sure that we restored the character of the church and being respectful of the local history as well.
The 6-month renovation answered the locals' prayers, giving the building new life. For distiller Chris Cairns, it's almost been like changing faith. He's gone from brewing beer at Scottsdale's Little Rivers to taking on the new world of rum and gin.
The knowledge base was completely different from brewing. Probably the biggest thing is the creative side of things, so I want to create something that people enjoy.
While enjoying the fact the ingredients showcase the northeast, whether it be by infusing Bridistow lavender to create a purple concoction, or a blue gin with gold glitter reflecting Bridport's surf and sand. The most elusive element to making an all-local gin are these juniper berries. They're usually imported from the Mediterranean, but the distillers teamed up with a grower up the road at Boobyalla. Tomorrow's grand opening means Chris can finally smell the roses, or perhaps just the gin.
We're going to just sit back with a gin and just be proud of what we've accomplished here.
Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmanians experiencing homelessness will now have a more permanent place of refuge, with the Davey Street Church officially off the market. Hobart City Mission has snapped up the prime real estate after a successful trial.
Once a congregational church, now a haven, providing emergency accommodation for locals with nowhere else to go.
We're seeing more and more people experiencing homelessness because of rising costs, cost of living pressures.
Bringing capacity up to 35 people, the Safe Night Space program has added 15 new beds to the facility after being booked out on a daily basis.
We've had clients from, I think, teenagers right through to individuals probably in their 70s.
Since its launch in December 2019, the Safe Night Space program has provided shelter for more than 500 people who would otherwise be sleeping on the streets.
They're welcomed, they're warm, they're safe, and we're able to provide a feed and a shower.
City Mission now plans to undertake minor improvements that were deemed impossible without full ownership, providing a comfortable space for vulnerable Tasmanians. Brianna Boylan at 7 Tasmania News.
COVID has ruled out North Hobart coach Clinton French for tomorrow's clash against Glenorchy. On field, the Demons are making 7 changes. Glenorchy has also been shuffling the Magnets, launching 9 debutants so far this season.
These young fellas, when they've been in the contest, they've put their head over the ball or they've tackled hard.
Boys really that missed out round 1 are really excited to kick off their season.
The Demons and the Pies are both searching for their first win of the year. Reigning NPL champion Glenorchy is wary of a new-look Clarence side. The top-of-the-table Knights say their opponents have dangerous players among both their forwards and midfield. Although the Zebras beat the Knights in the pre-season, they expect a totally different team this weekend. It's Clarence's first match in 2 weeks due to COVID. Both coaches say the evolving virus situation is an ongoing battle. And this week, the world-famous Harlem Globetrotters announced they'll be returning to Tasmania later this year. So for tonight's Friday Flashback, we're winding back the clock to a previous visit to the state and a classic appearance on the show midweek. In 1988, midweek flashed across TV screens.
Well, hello again. I'm Judy Benson. Thanks for joining us.
As the supremely skilled Harlem Globetrotters joined Peter Gilligan on set.
So this is a dribble, folks.
Complete with their usual bag of tricks. Their antics had been seen around the globe, all to the whistled tune of Sweet Georgia Brown. So when Hobart's turn arrived, the seats were packed.
Well, they can expect to see some of the same magic that we've been doing for 73 years.
Showbiz Jackson and co put on a show for the Derwent Entertainment Centre. Their famous Razzle Dazzle saw the team once again beat their long-time rival and perennial loser, the New York Nationals. The team has been seen by millions of fans worldwide since 1926, becoming a family favourite. They're back in Hobart and Launceston in July to once again show off their trademark moves.
Let me give you a big old kiss, man. Hot dog.
Now, I won't be finishing sport that way, Kim. Let's leave things there.
Good idea. Aren't they just superstars? Thanks very much, Tom.
Good evening. 23 was the state's top in Launceston today, Hobart 22, top of 20 in Burnie and Devonport, Grove 22, 21 on King and Flinders Island, Lowhead 20 and 15 in Lyowini. Satellite pictures show patchy cloud developing over northern districts of Tasmania this afternoon, with the remainder of the state cloud-free throughout the day. An extensive area of cloud stretches over New South Wales, Victoria and southern Queensland, associated with an upper low, and the cloud along the coast of Western Australia is a result of offshore winds. Tomorrow's chart shows the high pressure system centre remaining to the east of Tasmania, and the cold front has reached the Western Bight. North to northeasterly winds of 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots about the northwest during the morning, and southwesterly swells of 2 to 2.5 metres in the west and the south. A strong wind warning is in place for the far northwest coast as well as the lower and southeast coast. 24 in Hobart tomorrow, early fog, then mostly sunny in Medina, Oatlands 20, partly cloudy in Launceston, Devonport 20 and a shower or two in Lyowini, 19 in Burnie, Strawn mostly sunny and a top of 22 in Marrawar. A possible shower in St Helens, Swansea 22 and mostly sunny in Orford. Showers about the north on Sunday, extending to the west late warning and most remaining areas during the afternoon, 22 in Burnie and a top of 24 in Swansea. Monday, showers about the east, contracting to the northeast during the morning, light showers about the west and far south. And Tuesday, fine apart from possible showers about the north and southwest, 20 degrees in Launceston and Hobart 19. A shower or two in Brisbane tomorrow, Sydney 24, partly cloudy in Melbourne, sunny in Adelaide and a top of 36 in Broome. And right now in Hobart it's 16 in clear, Launceston partly cloudy in 16 and Devonport clear in 17, and that's all from me, Kim.
Have a lovely weekend, Victoria, and that is all your news for this Friday, the day Jeremy Rockcliffe was sworn in as our 47th Premier. The great weekend. Letitia Wallace will be filling in for Louise this weekend, and I'll catch you Monday. Good night.